Hey, it's your Las Vegas poker coach. On this podcast, we take a professional mindset to talk about poker and make some money at the game we all love. I invite you to listen in as we talk strategy, casinos, and life in general. Thanks for tuning in. Hey everybody, it's your Las Vegas poker coach again with another episode. Hey, before I forget, please do me a favor and click on the like or subscribe button in your player. It really helps the podcast grow and really helps me to get that feedback from you. So please go ahead and do that. Really appreciate it. All right, so every once in a while, I can bring you instructional topics on things that I think have helped my poker game and can potentially help yours too. So today, we're going to talk about reciprocation. Now, I think that this is a pretty key topic, and while it's not a beginner topic, it's something that can definitely help you bring a professional mindset to the game. A lot of the times when I say, this podcast is about a professional mindset, the reciprocation is kind of like where that discussion begins. Also, like in The Walking Dead, when, they meet somebody new, like a new stranger, they always come down to that one question of how many walkers have you killed? They basically can size you up in one question. Reciprocation is the question that I use when somebody tells me that they are a serious player or, they're really into poker. When somebody tells me that I play poker a lot and I'm a winning player and I love it, I immediately say, okay, what's reciprocation? And if they can't give me an answer to that, then that's an amateur player, right? That's not a professional player. So if you really want to, show that you're professional, really want to have a good mindset to the game, you should be able to fully understand what reciprocation is. Now, if you just want to have fun and just kind of play on the weekends with your buddies, you don't need to know reciprocation. Go out and have fun with your buddies, do whatever you want. But, this is one of those opportunities where I can help you understand how a professional thinks, what mindset you want to bring to the game in case you do want to be a professional in the future, and just kind of how, you can think about poker in a different way. And in some cases, it might also help you in your hand analysis, and in other cases, it might also help you feel a little bit better about some of the bad beats that you take. So anyways, let's get started here. All right, so what exactly is reciprocation? The best way I can start explaining reciprocation is thinking about that movie Fight Club. Do you remember when in Fight Club, they're just starting Project Mayhem and they just have their initial recruits and they have them working out in the garden, and the Brad Pitt character is out there with his megaphone, and he, as they're working in the garden, he's talking to them. You are not special. You are not a special and unique snowflake. That is kind of what reciprocation is. So in a nutshell, reciprocation basically says that you are not special. The statistics of the card distribution are going to be the same for you as they are for everybody else over their entire life, over your entire lifetime, your entire poker playing career. So you are not special. You are not going to get aces more often than your buddies. You are not going to get sucked out on less than your buddies. You do not have some magical ability to always win with pocket jacks. You are gonna receive those same hands just like everybody else will. So if you can understand that, that means that how you play those hands versus how other people play their hands is where the skill begins in poker. And this is how you can prove that poker is a skill-based game. Because how you play 5-6 suited, differing from how your friends play 5-6 suited. Because remember, you're getting them all at the same rate. You're going to get it 10 times, they're going to get it 10 times. How you differ in playing, those decisions that you're making, determine whether you win money or lose money from your buddies. So let me walk you through an example. Actually, I'm going to give you 2 examples. Let's say you play with your buddies, like a Friday night game at somebody's house, and you're happy because you won $500 that night. And you mostly won that money in a hand where you had pocket queens and your buddy had pocket tens. You both flopped a set, you both got it in on the turn, and nothing happened on the river, and he paid you off on those pocket queens. So you're happy, great, I won all this money. But here's the thing. Reciprocation would tell you, hey, how would you do with those pocket tens? Could you have folded those pocket tens? A set with pocket tens is a pretty powerful hand. That's only going to happen so many times. You waited all night. This all happened at the end of the night. You were patient. You finally got those pocket tens. That beautiful 10 came out on the flop. Hey, you're probably thinking, this is my hand. Could you have folded that set of pocket tens? Because if the answer is no, you couldn't have folded. That means that reciprocation would tell you that you didn't make any money that night. Because guess what? Next time your buddy's going to have the pocket queens and you're going to have the pocket tens. And now you're just trading like these coolers back and forth, right? So that's what reciprocation means. Reciprocation means that you have to kind of watch your play versus other people's play. Or recently in a report, to give you a second example, recently one of my play reports, I posted about how I lost a significant pot where I flopped 2-pair, top 2-pair, and my opponent flopped bottom set. I had Jack 9, he had pocket 3s, the board came out Jack 9-3. I ended up paying him off on that hand. We got it in on the turn. Nothing happened on the river, and I paid him off. Obviously, that's a terrible scenario. It was a huge pot, well over $1,000. But again, what happens if my opponent and I switch places? What happened if he had top 2-pair against bottom set? Am I getting paid off in my pocket 3s? Yeah, I probably am, right? So sometimes you can also think of it in those terms of saying, well, yeah, I took a bad loss and it stinks to be down right now, but my opponent would have played it the same way. So that hand is actually like a net zero hand, right? Because next time I'll have the set and I'll get paid off, even though it's bottom set and the board looks clean at Jack 9-3, so on and so forth, right? So this is kind of like where reciprocation comes in and says, okay, yeah, you did good tonight, but did you do better than your opponents? Did you inherently make better decisions than your opponents? Because if you didn't, then you're just holding onto that money temporarily, right? And vice versa, that maybe the opponents got the best of you, you were on the losing end, but that's okay. Because when the hands reverse, you'll be back to even, right? So here's another thing you should consider about reciprocation. Also understand that reciprocation applies to bet sizing. So what if you and I had aces back and forth? You had ace, you always had aces and I always had kings, and then we would alternate back and forth. But every time I had aces, I could win $10 from you. And every time I had the kings and you had the aces, you only won $1 from me. See, now we're talking about reciprocation in bets. Because earlier we agreed that we're both going to get aces and kings at the same rate, right, over the span of your life. So now you got to realize that it also plays into the size of the pots that you're playing. So I had a friend in Vegas, a really good player. His name was Bill, and he would always tell me that. He said, "Hey, when I have good cards, I want to play for dollars. When you have the good cards, I want to play for pennies." Right? Or he would say it another way. I can make you go broke on hands that I'm never going broke on. And when you start to think of it that way, now you're thinking about poker in a different level, right? Because now, in that same way, that people always say the cards don't matter. Well, here the cards really don't matter, and it's not because you're reading somebody or physical tells or anything. It's because you're able to measure how much you win versus how much you lose. I'm happy for us to go back and forth trading aces and kings as long as I win more money from you when I have the aces, right? I'll break you in the long run. It's going to take me longer because, you're also going to win some with the aces. But if the cards are going to fall the same for everybody, but I can win a little bit more from you than you win from me, then I'm ultimately ahead, right? I've created an edge over you. So that's where reciprocation comes in. So I hope you have a better understanding of that, because now you can understand, kind of the ebb and flow of the game, not just for a session, not even for a week or a month, but just the overall distribution of hands and how they all come out. Because again, you're not special. You're going to get aces just like everybody else. Same number, over time. But reciprocation should help you understand where that skill is created and how you're playing against your opponents. Okay, so now that you understand what reciprocation is, it should also help you understand where the money comes from in poker. Did I play my hands inherently different than how you play them? Did I win more money from you in those hands where I would have lost less money to you? Those are the questions you need to answer, and that's when you start to understand, oh, that's why I'm making money in poker. That's why this guy had aces 3 times in a session but still lost, right? It's possible to do that if you're not maximizing the value of your good hands, right? So this should also make you want to study your hands more, maybe even more so the hands that you won with. Because it's really easy to say, oh, I just want to study my bad beats. Well, really? Well, what about the hands you won with? How do you know you're not just exchanging coolers with other people? Oh, I won that hand set over set. Let's move on. Well, wait a minute. Are you going broke when you have the lower set on that too? If you are, then you didn't win anything on that hand. So this should make you, want to study and help you understand the importance of study. And I think it was Phil Ivey that talked about this. Phil Ivey talked about how he would study hands after the session, each session, especially the ones he won, because he wanted to make sure that he was actually winning that hand with an edge, not just luck, right? Not just because the cards ran right, because the cards are gonna run the other way against them the next time, right? And this is also why it's good to have a poker group to discuss hands with, your other friends that play. Because it's important to see other people's perspective. Well, I'm doing this in this spot. What are you doing in that spot? Oh, that's different. Why are you doing that? Can I win more money doing that? Or is that something I should adopt? Maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't. But understanding other people's perspective is how reciprocation is built, right? Because now you're understanding how other people would play in that same scenario. If you take reciprocation to the master's degree level, that's when you can start to say, well, if I believe in reciprocation, then the results don't matter. Because maybe I just got cooler today and I'll get them next time. Or, yeah, I took a loss of $100 today, but I can make that guy lose $400 tomorrow. Right? If you start thinking that, then you start, if you start accepting reciprocation, then you can start taking a longer term view of the game and saying, well, did I play poorly? Did I really, lose my discipline? Or did I experience bad variance where, it'll come around again and I'll have the aces over kings next time? Right? So this is where you kind of start seeing like the long-term effects of poker and how you lost your hands, how you won your hands. So the other aspect of that too, to kind of add on to that, is that when I finish a session, I try to focus on, did I make good decisions in this session? Because that's really the only thing that should matter. Did I fold when I needed to? Did I play the right hands? Did I have the right discipline? Did I make the right laydowns? Did I make the right calls? That's what you should be asking yourself. Not about, oh, did I win today? Did I lose today? Oh my gosh, how's my bankroll doing? You should be thinking about the decisions you make. Because it's those decisions, again, how they are different from your opponents, that will tell you, yes, you are an inherently winning player or you are a losing player. So that's where, I think the benefits of studying and understanding reciprocation really come in, because when you really start looking at it, it kind of takes this big weight off your mind to be able to say, well, wait a minute. Yeah, I mean, I did lose my top two versus set, but I'm winning that hand next time because my opponent can't fold that either. So this is the benefit of reciprocation. And, that's why I wanted to make this episode, because it's so key to thinking about poker in a different way. So if this is your first time hearing about reciprocation and understanding reciprocation, then I really hope it helps your game, because it can really open up a new dimension to how you think about poker and your sessions and your results, and just kind of how you're playing and how you're feeling about the sessions. I think it also helps a little bit with the psychology of accepting bad beats. I'm not somebody who's really invested a lot into the psychology of poker, and I know that there's plenty of books and plenty of experts on that, and I'm not trying to tell you that I'm one of them. But I think that it really just kind of helps, because it helps you understand the statistics and the distribution and the ebb and flow of the game. And plus, it's always a healthy thing to review your sessions. So I hope this has helped you. If you have questions, feel free to reach me on Twitter. I'm LV Poker Coach. I'm also on Instagram at LV Poker Coach. Feel free to add a comment in your player if you can. And thanks for listening. Hey, let's keep the conversation going. You can reach me on all socials at LV Poker Coach, all one word, on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.